to elevate your mind with SJC. Let's take a journey to new possibilities. Open up your mind to things you cannot see. It's time to elevate your mind. It's time to elevate your mind with SJC.
We are here, Elevate by SJC, with my lovely co-host, fiancée, Miss Tony Talks, or I'm sorry.
I don't know why you always add the talks on the
That's
end.
dope, though.
I feel,
Tony Talks.
Yeah, Tony Talks is business, right? But we're not actually doing it. So just Tony's a fun.
Yeah, she will have a segment one of these days, probably next episode. But look, I got my Lakers jersey on. Got my fedora by Mr. Keith James. Keith James, I need money. Lakers jersey, right. Shout out to Kobe. It's been a year. We love you, mama mentality. Appreciate it. But look, it's not about us, of course. But Tony, other than working, how's your week been going? What you got going on? Talk to me, baby.
Week's been good. Working. It's so funny. I know. Story of our life. But it's been good. How your week been?
I'm actually grateful. Just looking at how far Elevate has came. Now we're in the same studios. Y'all can see we got I'm gonna say it every episode. We got a new camera, so now it allows us to elevate to allow us to be in the same room. We got some dope lighting, but if y'all watched the previous episode with Pastor Shoulders, hallelujah, his lighting was dope. So I'm coming for you, Keith.
Whole setup
about to be lights out, dark episode. It's gonna be dope.
No lie, when he got off, he was like, "You know, I'm about to get those lights." I was like,
I wrote it down. Lava lamp, backlight. I got it. I got some backlights over there. It's gonna kill the game. But look, I'm gracious because it's just crazy. Like, if you keep your eye on the prize, if you trust the process, I'm not gonna go into a whole spiel because I gotta save that for my Monday minute. You can really see your stuff elevate. I know people get tired of me saying elevate, but just seeing where we started, that grind, that's why I respect you. You know, when we first started doing everything as far as the Hawt Wicks and doing the I'm like, man, anybody got time for this? But seeing the growth of you and seeing my own platform grow, like changing audio, the audio sound great. You know, the video is like, you know, we came far. So if you just keep your eye on the prize and you just really trust the process, you'll get to your destination. But that's what I'm on, man. Like, I'm just happy.
Oh, I think that's the perfect segue to introduce who you're talking.
We will. I'm going to save that snippet, though. I'm not going to talk about that snippet because it's on Monday Minute.
No, I'm saying what you just said is the perfect segue into introducing your guest.
Oh, you're right.
Because
you're right. Look. If you keep your eye on the prize and really trust the process, you'll get to your destination. And with that, we're going to introduce our guest. I'm kind of scared.
I'm excited. I'm so excited.
That's my dude, man.
I want to learn.
From the Now Town.
You excited because you
know. He come for, look, double A, MU. I know he ready too. That's my dude, man. Like, before I bring him on, I know he in the background looking like, man, bring me on. Man, am I stunting you? It's my show. Not just playing. But look, I really look up to this guy. Like, you know, we knew each other in undergrad. You know, we've been around each other. We always called him Naptown. And then, like, just to be a African-American and, like, being a doctor. You hear me? I'm not talking about you know, people call themselves doctor like Dr. Dre, you know what I'm saying? But being a doctor, that is something major. And, you know, we'll celebrate somebody that come out of jail before we celebrate somebody that get a doctorate degree.
Says who?
People. So, look, we gonna start out because look, he missing all the good material. But y'all, give you a round of applause. Hold on, give you a round of applause to Mr. Dr. C.L. Howard. What's up, baby? What's up, baby?
Yo, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I appreciate this opportunity. I do.
Hey, you the second ETK member. We're not gonna go into details. Look, what's this episode called? Excellence through knowledge. That's been on
through knowledge.
Your video is better though, but we appreciate it, man. Dr. Howard, Mr. Christopher, what's the L stand for?
Lee. That's my middle name. My middle name is Lee.
Coming to the ring, Dr. Christopher L. What's the L stand for? Lee?
Yeah, Lee. Can you hear
Dr.
me?
Christopher Lee Howard. Yeah, but I can hear you.
Yeah, he can hear you.
What's up, man? My bad. Look, this your show. So talk to us, man. Like, who is Dr. Introduce yourself to the world, to Elevate.
Oh man, hey, what's up, family? My name is Dr. Christopher Howard, and I'm a neuropsychologist. And what a neuropsychologist does is that we can look at brain behavior relationships. So essentially, because we always hear about the psychology, a lot of times when people think about psychology, they think about Freud, or they think about sitting on the couch, they think about sharing all their problems, or whatever the case may be. But neuropsych is a little bit different because what we do is that we look at the brain. So we look at traumatic brain injuries, acquired brain injuries, learning disabilities, whatever the case may be, and we kind of determine how they impact like behavior. And if we can kind of understand how behavior works, then we can kind of like make behavior so it's a little bit more palatable to the outside world. So that's kind of like what I do. I mean, my interest specifically, like something that I do, kind of looks at health disparities, cognitive agings, and I really love working with African Americans. Like that's it. Like so kind of health disparities, cognitive aging, and a huge focus is on African Americans. But since I live in Utah right now, we kind of changed a little bit. So now I'm looking a little bit more at forensics, but it's all good.
Hey.
Did you know that you always wanted to go into neuroscience, or did you explore that once you?
Man, such an amazing question though, right? Because it's like, how do you end up here, right? Because like a lot of people, like when they get to
hold on. This dude here, I don't know how he ended up in his profession all the way from normal Alabama. Okay,
man, it's been a journey to say the least.
How did you get there, man? I'm sorry.
All right, so man, so honestly, man, in high school, I was an underachiever. Like I always knew I was smart, but like, man, as far as like just putting forth the effort, like I did not, you know what I'm saying? So I got accepted to A&M, and it was kind of crazy because what it came down to was like I was looking at Holy Cross, which is right across the street from Notre Dame. Like my dad's side of the family's from like South Bend, and my mom, her side of the family's from Alabama, or whatever. So when I was younger, one of my best friends, his sister went to Alabama A&M, and they would come back, like her friends, a couple other people from the church. They would just talk about how good A&M is, how good A&M is, how good is A&M, the parties, the Bears are there, like just wherever the case may be. So you know what I'm saying? Like when you a young dude, like they kind of just like puts in the back of your head.
I remember them days. Never mind.
I applied to A&M and I applied to a couple other schools. My parents were like, man, you're not going to Indiana University because that's too big of a school and you're going to get lost. And I see about Indiana State, and when I went down to Indiana State, man, it was no offense to any of my homies went to Indiana State. That wasn't for me. And so what it kind of came down to, like going into the summer of my senior year of high school, was like, where do you want to go to college? So we went to Holy Cross to visit, and I hated it. You know what I'm saying? Like this lady who was like an academic advisor, she was cold, she was distant, and everybody just kept saying, are you going to be an athlete? Are you going to be an athlete? I'm like, no, I'm more than that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, me and my parents, we got in this huge argument in the cafeteria because, black people, our voice tends to carry, right?
Oh, I know.
And I was like, oh, I want to check out A&M. I want to check out A&M. So my parents like, whatever. So my mom called me, right? Like I was out kicking or whatever. My mom's like, yo, you need to get home quick. So I'm thinking it's like a family emergency, right? So I'm like rushing over home and I see this van in the driveway. So I come and say the house because I don't know what's going on, right? Like I said, this van, my mom's like, you need to get home quick. I'm 18. I don't know what to expect. And she's like, Chris, we're taking a family vacation down to Huntsville. I was like, oh, oh, okay. Because like at the time, like you driving, but you're not really driving for hours, right? You know what I'm saying? So from Huntsville to Indianapolis is like 5 hours, 45 minutes, give or take 30 minutes, right? So it's a lot of time in the car just to think, right? Just thinking. And man, when I get to A&M, I felt like I stepped.
Listen, you got to.
I felt like I stepped out of a black and white TV show into something color. Right. I said, man, coming from a medium-sized Catholic school on the north side of Indy to Alabama A&M, like on the visit, I said, oh, they ain't built like this. They ain't built like this in Indianapolis. Oh boy,
they feel like this.
hey, straight up. But you know what, man? Man, I forget this gentleman's name. He was a husband of one of the band directors, whatever. I forget his name, but he also had a son at A&M or whatever. But he had a real life conversation with my parents, because my parents were like, "Yo, we're going to invest a lot of money to send him down here, and we're doing this and this, and he's not close to home. When Chris comes here, will he have an opportunity to succeed in life?" And they had a real life conversation. My parents were like thoroughly satisfied with his answer. Matter of fact, he jumped in the rental van with us and he showed us around campus and took us to West. I don't know why he took us to West, because, bro, even during the summer, you know what I mean? But you know what I mean. So my parents were like, "Yo, you gotta decide," and I picked A&M on a leap of faith, and I never really looked back. So to answer your question, how did I end up here? And I was just like, man, I suck at math, so I want to do something that's cool. So I was like, yo, let me just start out psych. And I was doing really well psych freshman year, sophomore year, like everything was just popping, you know what I'm saying? And I got to be 20-ish, 20, because my birthday is October 4th or whatever. My cousin, he went to Morehouse. He's a ER physician in Atlanta. And he was just like, yo, you about old enough where you can kick it with me now, because the inside joke of her family was like, when you get about 21, you could come down to Atlanta for Morehouse Homecoming and kick it with us, right? So Morehouse Homecoming always falls on the same time as the Magic City Classic. So for 2 years in a row, I went down to first year I went down with Tyson and I kicked at Magic City. You know what I'm saying? Second year, it was like Nene, my homeboy TP, Ray Sean, you know what I'm saying? And we kicked it in Birmingham, like we turned the city upside down. So I was just like, yo. But my cousin was just like, if you can either go to Magic City, you come to Atlanta. If you come to Atlanta, you don't have to just worry about gas getting here. Everything else I'm gonna take care of. So I was like, all right, bet. You know what I mean? I'm gonna check it out. And when I visited my cousin and his homeboys, right? This is why it's so important to have a village, right?
Right.
We have young children, we have children in high school, we have children in undergrad. This is why it's so important to have a village, right? And when I was kicking it with his line brothers, because he crossed Kappa at Meharry, and kicking it with his homeboys, who went to Morehouse with them. And I was seeing what they were doing, right? They weren't just whatever, but they were like making inroads in the career. And I made a note to myself, is like, that's what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? So just went from me being a psychology, skip that. And I was seeing the way that he was living. You know what I'm saying? And I saw him with the Audi A8. And I saw the way that he was living with the mansion, and you know what I mean, and the way that he was kicking it. And I said, I want that too. And how am I going to be able to do that with what I'm doing? And I said, yo, I got to pursue the doctorate. You know what I'm saying? That's like the superficial version of like how I became doctorate, but things weren't just always that easy. So then it was just like, yo, like I had to grind to get it. And through the grind, it just widened my perspective. And I was just like, I don't want to just be a psychologist. I want to be a neuropsychologist. But I hate losing. Like losing is something that sticks with me. And when I would go to my church, or I would go to different things and see the way that older African Americans were struggling, particularly with mental health, I said, I got to be a neuropsychologist and I got to be for my people. Because when I go to the Ivory Towers and these people aren't invested in my community the same way I am, and I don't like to see my people lose. And that's really what kind of formed me into being what I am now.
That's great. Ooh, look, you on the episode for a reason. You had something, a question?
No, I was gonna say your journey is literally the epitome of start here, go anywhere.
That is.
It is.
Really
That
is.
is. Look. That's crazy. Look. Ooh, it's so much stuff. Look. Hold that. Right. It's crazy. What you say about losing and winning? What you say that? Say that one more time.
Man, I hate to lose. Like it's something that sticks with me. And like that's what it takes sometimes to get to the next level. Like honestly, man, I didn't even really understand that until I was watching that Jordan documentary about how that losing just infuriates you. Because there's probably times where I should have been like, I'm done, I quit, I'm less than, I'm not good enough. But just the idea of selling and saying, you know what, there's somebody out there who thinks that they're better than me, and I know that I'm more talented. No, let's go another round, whatever it takes.
That's crazy you said that. All right, y'all. Look, we're gonna get more into Mr. Dr. Christopher Lee Howard, right?
Yeah.
Exit 30 segment. Look, the voiceover later, she's not ready yet, so I'm gonna be your voiceover. The next episode, she's gonna be ready. All right. So I'm gonna do the voiceover. Exit 30 segment is brought to you by Hawt Wicks and Scents. Looking for a way to add a touch of luxury to your day? Shop Hawt Wicks and Scents for uplifting, nostalgic fragrances that are sure to please your senses. We encourage you to try our scents and buy, and remember to stay hot.
Listen, his facial expression when he realized you were doing that, like,
I didn't see. I was in the moment. Look, guys, if you want your business advertised on Elevate by SJC, make sure you email us at elevatebysjc@gmail.com. Please do not Facebook me because I do not respond. But I got a message, and it's crazy you said this, man. And we didn't even talk about this, because everything is just like flowing, right? We just have conversation.
Of course.
So my message today is product of your environment. Winners win and losers lose.
Facts.
I include this on my Monday Minute, but it was near and dear to my heart. If you hang with losers, I'm sorry. I'm gonna get real. If you hang with losers, you become a loser. If you hang with winners, you become a winner. That's why you have to make sure that people that you hang around are the product that you want to become. Because if not, you're going to become a product that is not going to win. So I hate losing, as my friend Dr. Howard says. So make sure the people that you hang around with, they want to elevate and they want to be successful. That is very important, because if you do not, I promise you, when you wake up, you will be losing every single day, minute, hour, and year. So you have to surround yourself around successful people. I've always been taught where I work at, I'm not going to say where I work at, that you have to not even play, you have to act and dress for the position that you want. Let me say that again. You have to act and dress for the position that you want, not the position that you're in.
Facts.
So you have to make sure every day you position yourself around winners. That's why I'm glad I bought my friend near and dear to my heart. I've known since 2005 on this show. When he graduated doctorate, even though COVID interrupted all those things, I had to make sure I go celebrate with my friend because he's a winner.
Hey, and I appreciate it too, man. Like, you guys really came through, so I really appreciate you guys.
Day one, you have to surround yourself with winners. I've been in too many situations. I see people that have that negative mindset, right? There's nothing positive come out their mouth.
You know what? Let me take a step further though, man.
Go ahead.
And sometimes, like, when I work with my patients, particularly like pediatric kids, like, who are on a precipice between adulthood, but still like 15, 16. Like, so funny, because like when you're 15, 16, you think you got like forever to go before you're adult. But when you become adult, you realize like 2 years ain't too much. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I said it to say, it's like, this is why it's important to have goals, right? And one of the things I've been doing is challenging them lately is like, what are your goals? And you should be able to immediately say what you want to do a week from now, a day from now, a month from now, whatever the case. And I'll tell you a story. I knew I was going to college, right?
Right.
And my parents made it clear that they were investing in me so I could get to college, right? Like they planted a seed in me, right? So I got a homeboy, and he came up to me. We went to church together, whatever. And he was just like, somebody disrespected my friend's sister. We want to handle it, whatever the case may be. And like, yo, you want to come with us? You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can take care of this. And I was like, nah, because I got the city track meet coming up. Plus, I'm not really trying to get in riffraff. Like, you got some cats who love that conflict, who thrive and they revel in conflict. That's not me. Like, if I can avoid conflict, I'm a punk, I'm whatever. You're right, I am. I don't want none of that. So I'm at the track meet, and I see another one of my homeboys from church, and he's like, did you hear about what happened to Jason? I'm like, nah, what happened? They said they went to a dude's house to confront him or whatever, and dude opened up the door with the shotgun, shot one dude, and Jason tried to make a break for it, and he got shot in his back, and he was like paralyzed, like he was a quadriplegic and stuff. And I'm thinking in my head, like, man, like, had I went with them because I had nothing else to do, then I could have been one of those guys. Like, anything could have happened. You know what I'm saying? And that just kind of taught me, it's like, it's important to have goals, because when you have goals, you know what you're working for, right? At the end of the day, you can say to yourself, okay, I'm at the same place, I'm further away from where I started, or I'm that much closer to my goals. And so it's about having an idea of what you want. And that's not a selfish thing. That's a thing that takes people to the next level.
Like that. You gotta be like that. And I know you want to say something. Look,
No, I'm just listening.
look,
Yo, ask away, man. I'm here for it.
It's real. Sometimes Tony does she get on my nerves all day, but no,
See.
she get on my no for real. But I love her and I adore her, and I would do anything for her because she's a winner. Her drive cannot be matched. I told somebody the other day, they was asking
This
about
is true.
T-shirt.
I'm pat myself on the back on that one.
I'm
I don't. Can't nobody outwork me.
I told somebody the other day, they said they want a T-shirt, and I said, look, my girl, she has a hell of a design. Her design. I said, can nobody in Huntsville, hell, Alabama can beat her on design. You will never outwork her, right? There's pros and cons to everything, but you will never outwork her. That is a winner because at the end of the day, we may be working right now in 2021, but there's an ultimate goal that we have set for 2022, 23, 24, 25. If you do not, I promise you, if you do not have a goal or a plan, it's only going to become a dream.
Of course.
I promise you. So make sure you understand that you surround yourself with winners. It's always important to make sure you know,
that's so interesting.
Winners win and losers lose. And that's why she said it's so important. You can start here, you can go anywhere at the Alabama A&M.
Absolutely. I mean, it's so important that you say that because it almost gets to the point, like, I don't judge people, like, live your life to the best of your ability and stuff like that. But sometimes when you get around people who just dream all the time, right? You know what I mean? It's a superfluous lifestyle. They're talking about this, they're talking about that, they're talking about this. And it's just like, bro, what are you doing to get there? Or sis, like, what are you doing? Like, what have you done that's going to bring you a little bit closer to what you're doing and stuff, other than just sitting there dreaming? Like, and I get it. Sometimes you need a respite where you think about what you want to do. But in what capacity? Like, man, I used to work at psych hospitals, like fresh out of undergrad. And man, that was like one of the worst, best experiences. I'm sure we'll get to that a little bit later. But man, I would take a notebook with me, right? And I would work these overnights. So, the first hour of the shift, I'm doing the paperwork, I'm making sure the patients are getting to bed, whatever the case may be. Then I will ask them, like, yo, can I get the one-on-one? So a one-on-one is like basically you're in the patient's room to make sure nothing happens to them while they sleep. They don't get up, they don't wander around, they don't have sundown, whatever the case may be. You're basically in the room with them. And I will have my backpack with me. And after I got the paperwork and everything situated and stuff and the patient's laying down, I would crack open my book because I was working my master's. And the first hour and a half, I'm just doing my homework because it's about economizing time. Because what else would I do? So I get this homework out the way, read the chapter, whatever the case may do, make cliff notes. So I get done with that, right? All right, bet. So now I got like another 4 hours in front of me for the night. The patients sleep. I'm keeping up with the rounds and stuff. I'm just sitting in this room. So I would inch by the light and I would take out this other notebook called Ideas. And it's called Neuro Ideas. And I would just write out what I want it to be and give myself a timeline or the different things I want to implement and whatever the case may be. And I will have that down and I keep that near and dear to my heart because I'm like, this is going to be the blueprint that takes me to the next level because where I'm at doesn't necessarily define what I'm going to be.
Say that.
But it's how do you take advantage of that situation? But see, take a step further, like early Atlanta, fresh out of undergrad.
Go ahead.
Like, because I'm feeling it right now. Fresh out of undergrad, Atlanta, like 2 phases of my life. Atlanta taught A&M, 3 phases. A&M taught me to hustle.
Grussel.
Atlanta made me like, okay, I'm mastering the hustle. Chicago, west side of Chicago, taught me how to perfect the hustle, right?
Okay.
Because everybody at A&M, like everybody's on the grind, everybody's doing something. Like we get on Facebook now, we see Smack Shack, and it's like, man, I remember when you were in Walkerwood, and now you got your own food truck plus your engineer, right? Like you see how people hustle and different things. Right. But when I was in Atlanta, it fit into that competitive because I'm like, yo, I'm trying to get this master stuff, but maybe a room down from me, sis is trying to get on Tyler Perry's show, and she's perfecting her acting skills or her dancing skills. Bro's trying to be a firefighter, so he's reading the same way I'm reading, trying to become a better firefighter or whatever test they got to pass. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's on a hustle, so you feel good. Your hustle, like that's like man, like that was crazy. Like so, it's just like okay, bet. So I'm writing these ideas, then I'm doing this stuff. I'm like, you know what I mean, I do an 8-hour shift, and I get off at 7, sleep for a little bit, and I'm back at work to do another 16. Like that's the hustle, because what it comes down to, how bad do you want something? Everybody wants to be a millionaire. Everybody wants to make six figures. Everybody wants to, whatever the case might be. A lot of people want to be a doctor. How bad do you want it? And that's it.
E.T. said it the best, and it stuck to me to this day. I'm sorry, Tony. I know you want to talk, but after this, I'm gonna shut up.
You fine.
He said it the best, and sometimes people say quotes, right? But it's like listen to music. Oh man, he can rap. But are you listening to the lyrics?
Yes.
E.T. said, if you want to breathe as bad as you want to succeed.
To succeed as bad as you want to breathe.
If you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. I'm sorry, let me start off. If you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe. Now I'm gonna stop there because I have asthma. No, serious. When you have an asthma attack, you want to breathe. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to succeed as bad as you want to breathe, then you'll be successful. That's the most powerful thing I've ever heard.
Or can you live, right? Whatever you do, right? Like if you're doing a podcast, right, and you do the best podcast you can do, you can rest on your laurels because you said, I did a valuable effort. I invested in my craft. I invested in this. I did everything I was supposed to do. So whatever the outcome, I can live with that, right? But if you half behind it and you see somebody else who's not talented enough as you or whatever the case, and they're living your dream, can you live with that? Every day you wash your face. Every day you pick your kids up, you cook dinner, you go to family reunions, wherever the case may be. Can you live knowing that there's somebody out there who outworked you, outperformed you, and you didn't give a good effort? Can you live with that? I mean, some people can.
Hey,
and that's not for everybody. Some people are like, yo, that's cool because I'm comfortable.
That's that sense of urgency I talked about. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead, Tony. Cause look, she ain't talked the whole time. She over here smiling.
Well, I ain't going for these tangents, man.
I'm learning.
What's on your mind, baby?
I'm just learning. I'm observing. I'm learning. I'm listening to. So let me just say this. I'm about to be ignorant for a little second. Sam has friends that I don't hear him talk to on this level. So I'm kind of like just sitting back trying to see a different little side,
Come on, man.
So I put in that category because I gotta watch what I say. So look, I put in the category because I have friends like, I'm calling them Shamario, Skeet, Steve. We have these conversations, right? There's people that I try to have these conversations with, right? And I'm not gonna call them a loser. I'm gonna call them they're in the between. But sometimes you have to move on where you understand that. Let's be real. We 34, 35, 36. We paying bills, got credit cards, got debt, got houses, whatever, right? People, you have to put them in I'm gonna go back for a minute.
Say you got to compartmentalize people?
Yeah. Look, I talked to my god sister a couple weeks ago, and I told her this. She said, "Why life has to be this way? You have to
compartmentalize.
Because if you don't, you start to wiggle into the situations and the things they've come from, right?
Well, you be overcome by their situations
instead of yours.
Finding your own situation.
Exactly. So you have to okay, well, you know what? Well, Dr. Howard, that's a winner. So-and-so, that's a loser. Now I can still converse. It's not saying I'm gonna kick them out of my life, right? But you have to address people in certain manners and have certain conversations and not let them know this and that because you've already put yourself in a situation that you tried to, right? It just didn't come out right. Or they like, I ain't into that. I want to go to the club, shoot dice, smoke this, whatever, drink this, or I'm just not into that. So somebody told me this a long time ago too, and I'm gonna put it all together. I said, you know what? I'm gonna give up on so-and-so. They said, well, have they made progress? And I said, not to my level. They said, it's not about your level. If you see a change, even if they move 2 inches from your expectations to the right, going the right direction, look, they made progress. Your requirements is not their progress. Is have they tried and have you seen the change? That's the progress. So, but you do have to compartmentalize people.
That's a life lesson, though.
You have to. You have to.
That's a life lesson.
When we was in Chicago, we had these conversations.
We did. We had a lot. You know what I mean? Because you man, that's one of the things about being able to reconnect with your people and stuff like that. is that you get an opportunity to see people. Like, you know what I mean?
Are you trying to do neuro on us right now?
No. I'm chilling, man.
Yeah.
But it's a lesson that I had to learn, right? Because
Right.
I know how Chris Howard is, right? I know when there's something I want to do, whatever the case may be, like I become hyper focused on it. But not everybody's like that though. So I can't like eschew people from my life because they're not doing the same thing or want something as badly as I want it. Because what ends up happening is that you become like that overbearing parent. You become like, you know, I want you to do this, because that's what you would do. You know what I'm saying? And that's not necessarily what they would do, or maybe they're not built for the lifestyle that you lead.
True.
Just like if they were trying to give you advice on how to be chill or whatever the case, you would eschew that advice. So it's just kind of like meeting people where they're at. It's like, yo, like even if you choose a different life path, I'm still gonna rock with you because my love is unconditional.
Correct.
But at the same time, I can't mess with you.
No, that's real. My homeboy said something. Andre Davidson, shut up. He gonna be on the podcast. We're gonna do like an old A&M reunion show.
Yeah.
And he said something. He said people used to talk about you, Sam, because you were not taking the route they were taking. He said, man, you're still successful because you wanted to do what you wanted to do and you made it happen. We're talking about the podcast, you know, having a family, kids, and all that, right? And so your success is not determined by how Chris Howard wants my success. Now,
But at the same
yeah,
time,
so yeah.
Hold on, let me say this real quick. But at the same time, because we talked about goals a little bit earlier, though, right?
Right.
And not my goals are better than yours, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, I can't put myself in a situation where I jeopardize what I'm working for. Like I can't put these hours in studying, whatever the case, working with patients, and I jeopardize that on something silly because maybe you feel inadequate, maybe you feel less than, maybe you feel whatever the case may be, and you want to show that you got something successful going on, and you want to go to the hood and like run a pack or deal with some other cats. Just a quick story. I promise I'm not going to like story you guys to death. Remember, like I was a senior in high school and I was getting ready to go to A&M. My parents invested in me. I know the money that they put forward so I could go down there. So I'm coming from A&M, or I'm coming from Indiana, right? So it wasn't just like, hey, I'm going right down the street. No, we go in a third across the country. And I had a homeboy who wasn't going to college. And I look back on it, he was feeling a certain type of way that other cats were leaving. You know what I'm saying? I had a homeboy who was going to Xavier in Ohio, a couple cats going to IU, a cat going to North Carolina A&T, another cat going to Southern. And he felt a certain way about that. So when we would go out, he would try to get in these fights with like locals. The thing about locals is that they don't have nothing to lose. So it ain't none of them to take it to the next level where I'm thinking in the back of my head, like I got parents who care about me. I'm getting ready to go to school. Skip that tough guy stuff. You know what I'm saying? And he would just come back to us with like, if you really rock with me, if you really love me, you would get involved with me and da da. I can't rock with you.
I literally just had this conversation with my sister about just my nephew and some of the other kids that grew up with him or whatever, and how they went back home for the summer. Me and Sam was like, after, which I'm from Huntsville, so you know it's not really for me, right? But after your freshman year, you know, you gotta kind of cut it out. You can't really go back because you'll get dragged back into that situation, or people will see how you're doing better than them, and they'll try to steal it away from you. And
they see that before you see it.
Look, I
see that change before you see it.
Let me say that I love my brothers and sisters on the journey, right?
Yeah.
But when you put yourself in a situation where you know for a fact there's nothing good going to come out of that, and why are you putting yourself in that situation in the first place? Like me going back to my hometown after my freshman year. Look, I'm 35 right now, and I can count on one finger, maybe actually one finger, how many people I talk to that's in my hometown right now. So what are you getting out of that? Because at the end of the day,
nothing. I was gonna say I'm up the street from where I went to.
And you still don't talk to them.
Nobody.
At the end of the day,
no shade though.
My responsibility is to my fiance and to my daughter. Nothing else matters. I'll tell y'all this all the time. I love y'all. Y'all need something, I got you. You can't have my money though. because I work hard for this. I love you as a brother on the journey, right? If you need, I told my god sisters, no lie. I can tell you how to help you get your credit fixed, how to, get a job, get re-enrolled, but you can never have my money. You see what I'm saying? That's real. No, that's serious. You know what I'm saying? So, because at the end of the day, I can give you these advice that you need or how to get back on the right path, but my responsibility is to my household, and you have to live like that. I think I could be a neuropsychologist. I think I'm there. Is this what neuros do? Is this what y'all do? What do
It's what
neuros
I
do?
do.
Please.
It's what I do. But I'm built a little bit different than the rest of the field, though.
What you mean? Like,
but I got you, though.
No,
I was about to say, please sit him on the couch and tell him why he cannot do it.
So what? So what is neuropsychology though? Like what? Like give me some of the details.
So neuropsychology, man, is really about brain behavior relationships, right? So, traditional psychology is like, let me reach into your dark, deep schema and see what your unconscious is so we can make you better, right? Because somebody's grappling with whatever the past is. And I get it to a certain extent. But what we do is a little bit more on the medical side where we say, okay, well, listen, man, you have a stroke or you have a tumor or, you have a hemorrhage or you have like whatever the case may be. So we're looking at the brain and we're looking at how that impacts like the way that you act moving forward, whether you're having difficulties with language, vision, counting, thinking, a quick shift in your personality, whatever that case is, you come to me and I got you, and we do brain behavior. But me specifically, leading up to this point, I really just focused on Alzheimer's, especially Alzheimer's in African American.
I've seen a podcast that you follow about the Alzheimer's, so it's really like important, especially in the Black community.
Oh, absolutely.
What's the which I think I know the answer, but what's the difference between Alzheimer's and dementia?
Great question.
Are they the same? My bad.
No, it's all good. So dementia. So Alzheimer's is a type of dementia. So in its basic sense, what a dementia is just a precipitous decline in cognition. So when you start thinking about different types of dementia, you got cardiovascular dementia, you got Alzheimer's dementia, you got frontal temporal lobe dementia. It's like a whole host of different types of dementia and stuff like that. So that's pretty much the biggest difference. Is Alzheimer's is kind of specific because it pretty much centers on memory loss. Like the most paramount things that you'll see is just like a decline in memory. Whereas if you look at I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, so I guess why I asked that question is because sometimes when you hear people speak of the two, usually they associate one with African American and am I
that's real?
That's an excellent question. So I'm gonna tell you this though, right? So with Alzheimer's disease, because I'm not going to try to turn this into a biological basis of behavior. I'm not going to do that. But what I will say is several things. The first is that it's a genetic component to Alzheimer's disease, right? So with white Americans, it's apolipoprotein under allele 4. That's a different gene. That's a gene that they have. When we have that gene, even if it's doubled up, it doesn't necessarily cause us Alzheimer's. What we have is ABCA7. What's that? ATP binding cassette on a subset family of 7 and stuff like that. So our Alzheimer's gene is kind of predicated on stress. So when we start talking about the nuances of racism or different kind of stressors and stuff, that's what leads us to have Alzheimer's. Like we develop Alzheimer's at a rate 3 to 4 times higher than white people, but what gives them Alzheimer's doesn't affect us, right? So that's where it's problematic. But to take it a step further is that white people, only about maybe 45, 50% of them have some sort of mixed Alzheimer's. African Americans, 75% of us, we have a mixed pathology. We have a mixed Alzheimer's, which means that ours started a little bit early. It's more aggressive, but African Americans, we don't utilize treatment. We're reticent to do it. And I get Tuskegee. I get the Mississippi epidectomies. I get, so many. I get, the maternal care. All these things that kind of like push us away from utilizing medicine, but at the same time, it's like early intervention matters. Developing coping strategies, that matters. And I'm not going to like poo-poo on the people who smoke weed or whatever. I get it. But at the same time, you need a litany of coping skills. You can't just say, okay, I get this problem, let me smoke weed, and that's going to be the panacea. No, it's
So
like you need coping skills.
what do you suggest if, say for instance, we noted I have not me per se, but like if you have somebody elderly in your life and you start to feel like they have some type of onset, what besides seeking medical, like what's some of the signs that we can try to recognize? I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, signs. Um, let me see. If you go out to dinner, right? And
Uh-huh.
traditionally they can order their own food. They know what they want. I want the because you guys down south, I like the iced tea, the sweet iced tea with the lemon in it.
It's no
If
other
they
thing.
stop all that stuff and they start saying, let me just get what she's ordering, right? Because what we're looking at is executive functioning, right? Executive functioning is the way that we problem solve, the way that we think, the way that we conceptualize problems, the way that we understand the environment around us and stuff like that. So when you start seeing a shift in that, granted, there's natural aging decline in cognition, but when we start seeing what's like really noticeable and it shouldn't be there, is that okay?
We need to
That's something to be mindful of. When they used to have like a number of different activities where they used to participate in, and they don't want to do it because the age-old question in neuropsych is, do they recognize that there's a deficit, or are they oblivious to it? And more times than not, people know that there's a shift, right? Knowledge of self, right? So, and they understand like, yo, there's something different going on with me, and they'll start making like subtle and different changes to try to like
Yeah,
adjust or whatever.
that's
So
right.
it's just one of those things. Like if you're paying attention and you're
Right.
saying like, man, they don't order, they don't go out with their friends, they don't participate in social things. Is it a depression, or is there some type of cognitive function that's going on? Either or, how can I intervene?
True.
Right. So when you intervene, you have conversations with people. And most people, like what we're doing, you say something, I respond. Sometimes it can be a little bit tangential, but I try to bring it back to the point. I say something, Sam goes off another field, but he brings it back to the point. But somebody has some sort of cognitive
You
deficit.
can't do that.
What ends up happening, they become a little bit more tangential,
Yeah.
right? They start talking left field and stuff, and they have a hard time trying to bring it back to the point. So these are things that you really start to become mindful of. And I want to tell your audience this also, because I know it's like a lot of African American listeners and stuff like that. If you suspect, if you suspect that there's any sort of cognitive change, take notes.
That-
And it seems so simple, but take notes, because I work with white physicians. I work with white neuropsychologists. I've been around white students. They don't understand the nuances of our community. I get it, big name professor, big name school, whatever the case may be, but they struggle with it and they're so quick to dismiss. But if
that-
you have like a note of different changes that you notice before or after, whatever the case may be, it makes it harder for them to dismiss.
that's crazy you said, but look, that's crazy because there was wasn't Sharice White. It was a article about that when she passed away, about the baby, about the white doctors don't notice as far as the traits and character, the things we go through with our body. But look, guys, look, we're gonna hold it there. It's a great conversation. I do want
No,
to
I
pick up.
had another question. I'm sorry. I'm so interested.
Okay, but look, we gotta take a quick break.
No, I'm here. Whatever you
We
need.
gonna do that. We got a quick look. Our producer said we want to get paid. We got to talk about our advertisement, right? So, guys, we're gonna take a quick break and we're gonna go into your favorite say it with your chest. All right, y'all. We had to take a quick break. The conversation was so good. I had to pay my utility bill and my internet bill and my fiance bill,
Thank you, Lana.
all that bill. So we'll get to our say it with your chest segment. It's gonna be quick. I want to get back to the conversation we were having. This segment is sponsored by ElevateBySJC.com. You want all your gear, hoodies, t-shirts, and face masks because the COVID is real. Visit ElevateBySJC.com. All right, y'all. Say it with your chest. Dr. Howard, we appreciate you.
I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. Look, this segment is basically something on your mind, be petty, something or someone who made you mad or angry. Quick, simple,
Oh,
to the
I
point.
can't wait for this.
Tony, go ahead and go first. What you got?
I gotta start thinking of what you call it. I know I'm ready for outside to open back up. So I'm just please follow guidelines. But you can talk about
Ooh.
that, doctor. Like what?
I got one. Go ahead.
Okay. You got so excited, like
Yeah.
a little candy store.
I
Anyway,
did. I thought about it. My COVID.
okay. Anyway, yeah, I'm like, just wear your face mask, wash your hands, all of that. That's my. I'm ready for outside to open up.
Look, that's crazy. Appreciate it, but I was just playing.
You get on my nerves. That's my say it with your chest.
Hey, listen, I ain't tell Tony this yet, but look, we had to take my dog, Hershey, to the vet today, right? Pull up. You ain't gonna believe this. One of the nurses didn't have a face mask on.
What you?
I said, what the hell? Like, she walked outside, walked to the mailbox to get the mail, right? Me and Kirsten get out the car with Hershey. Hershey didn't have his face mask on, by the way. Bad dog. We were walking. I see her walk back. I'm like, damn, you ain't got no face mask. And I think she was like, oh, damn, we got customers. And so she never came back in the building. But how are you going to set I know it's a dog clinic, it's a dog hospital, right? How you going to set example? You know, you got your scrubs on, but you ain't got no mask on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. I see people do that all the time. Like, it be 800. Man, I see the people at these parties.
Man,
all this
people
stuff.
still think it's a political hoax. Like, it's
It
weird.
is.
Man.
Look, when we got engaged, my mom was. I heard my mom was out there taking
temperatures, handing out hand sanitizer. Stay away from us.
Yeah, like,
hey, that's what you gotta do.
Yeah, wear your mask, man. Like, how you gonna be a nurse? I don't care if it's a nurse for dogs or a nurse for humans or birds. Wear your mask. Set the example. That's my say. Because I'm so excited to get back to this conversation. What's yours, Mr. Howard? We'll get back to the conversation.
Man, you know what? I had a professor when I was like maybe a first year, second year. Like, okay, so because I like to put things in context, right? So like when I'm at A&M, like it's a level of ambition that you appreciate though, right? Because you see your homeboys moving. Because I was like, yo, I'm a psych major, but Skeet, he's doing computer engineering. But I'm so confident in myself when I see Skeet winning, I'm not like, oh, I hope he fails or hope something goes bad for him. I'm like, yo, that's my dude. And when he does well, it makes me look good.
Right.
Tyson wants to be a teacher. Nenye's a strength coach. When my people do well, it's a good reflection on me.
Right.
That's the way I grew up. Like a lot of my homeboys in high school, super successful, equity firms, properties, whatever the case might be. You know what I mean? And that motivates me. But when I got to like this doctorate level stuff, it was different. People didn't, not everybody was built like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I had a professor and he was just like, yo, Chris is bright, but he intimidates me. And I don't want him to study neuro because every black trope that you can think, he's going to be angry at me. You know what I mean? But instead of saying like, yo, like, you know, it's some things that I'm going through, I want to put the burden on Chris because he's thinking like, yo, like, it's easier to get rid of this black student than it is for them to get rid of me. And that's something that just stuck with me because when I would be at my lowest point or when I would be like broke or when I was like in the trenches, I would say that to myself, what he said about me. Because my academic advisor told me what he said. He would call up to the school, I hate Chris. I hate this idea of neural nerds. Why does he want to do Alzheimer's research on the west side of Chicago and the south side? All lives matter. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
And I had a teacher tell me, Chris, if you were white or Chinese, you would be on full scholarship. But because you are who you are, you rub people the wrong way. And the thing that you have to realize is like, yo, like, I don't know, like, you know what I'm saying? Some people, like, they want to lie to you. And when you don't accept that lie, you don't think that lie is truth and you fight against the lie, then they want to try to paint you as like the angry black man.
Yeah,
he's an insubordinate. You know what I'm saying? So that's what like motivates me. Like even now, and that happened like damn in 2013, 2014, but still to this day, because I know how people think. I know how people think, and I can't give them that satisfaction that they are right about me.
Right, and you can't give them satisfaction for you to fail.
Nah. Like,
that's real.
Because then I have to carry that for the rest of my life. Like I gave them that satisfaction that, hey, you know what? I'm not good enough.
I won. Yeah, I know.
Oh, I'm better than him. And he's doing all this other stuff. Because it gets to the point after a while when you keep winning and they keep trying to sabotage you. Now they look like the fool.
That's true.
Damn, well, he's doing his thing and he's doing whatever. Why you keep Why is this thing in your mouth still? Why you keep trying to sabotage them?
Hey, that's crazy. I know we got to move on to go back to the segment, but I watched
I feel you though.
I watched the Hurricane with Denzel Washington, and the police officer, it's a true story, and the police officer kept making sure that he failed, and when he got out, he was, he was just like, the man almost died, you know what I'm saying? Because his whole life he was making sure the Hurricane. Anybody know what the Hurricane is? It's a movie about a boxer that was incarcerated, for they charged the wrong person of a death for someone that died the night he was at a bar. But it's a great movie. But it just teaches you, like, people want to see you fail. That's their satisfaction in life. So I like that drive, man. Like, there's people out there really want you to fail. So, like you said,
that's how they can sleep easier at night, right? Because you weren't supposed to get this far. You weren't supposed to make it. You weren't supposed to achieve the things that you did, but you did. And now it's a reflection on the things that I did not do. So if you fail, misery loves company. If you fail, then that's a less of an onus on me, right? Because it's hard for everybody. We all didn't make it. You know what I mean? Yeah. But now if you make it and you beat the odds and you did the things that you weren't supposed to do, but you grind, you hustle, you focus, you prayed, you tithe, you offered, and you got to that next level, but I didn't do none of those. You know what I mean? Some people can't sleep with that because it's hard to look in the mirror. Every day that you shave or that you get ready to get ready in the morning, one of the things you have to do is look in the mirror and face yourself. And if you living with guilt or you living with that you didn't do what you're supposed to do, it's hard to face yourself in the mirror. So imagine going out in the world every day without looking at yourself in the mirror before you leave the house. Straight up.
Good Lord. Hey, you gotta do another.
Be cool, man.
Bro, you gotta do
be cool, man.
All the A&M people, dog. It's gonna like the winners, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be a 3-hour long podcast. People ain't gonna watch that. But no, that's gonna be dope. All right, we gotta get back to it, y'all. Mr. Dr. Christopher Lee Howard of the Alabama A&M University. We gotta get back to the program. I know, Miss Tony, you had a question. We had to pay some people real quick, but we back. So what was your question for Dr.
So I just wanted to know, along the lines of what we were talking about prior to, how do we keep our
the brain sharp?
Is it cognitive?
Cognitive.
Yeah, we have issues with our words. Like, what's that word earlier I said?
Compartmentalize. I was trying to make sure. I know it was a couple words.
Compartmentalize.
I was trying to make sure I was using the right word. But anyway, did I use the right word?
Yeah, you used it. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. So how do we? What's some activities that we can do to keep our brain sharp?
You know what? Like, you can read all the articles and stuff, but specifically for African Americans, one of the things that we have to do is learn the ways to reduce stress in our life. Like, not leave it or take it out and stuff like that, but how to better manage it. Like, we need to develop coping skills, because what ends up happening is that we're really sensitive to stress. And when we have stress, what ends up happening is that we have a higher probability of developing diabetes, hypertension, strokes, all that stuff. But a lot of that stuff just centers on stress. So we need to learn how to stress manage, right? And this goes into everything else, right? So the first thing is like being active. When we talk about our community, a lot of things we talk about is the alcohol stores, the food deserts, whatever the case may be. But one of the things that we don't discuss is the paucity of exercise facilities in our communities. Like, the same way that you could go miles and miles, like if you're in an urban environment, like say Chicago or Detroit or Rust Belt City, Cleveland, Indianapolis, whatever, you could go miles and miles without seeing an adequate grocery store. You know what I'm saying? And even when we see a grocery store that's in the community, sometimes it's not even that the items that they have is priced super high, but we have ideational constrictions in terms of how do we use fresh fruits, because we live in a collectivist society. So it's not just, my immediate family living together a lot of times, but a lot of times it's the auntie, the uncle, the grandma, whomever, we're all living in the same house. So when you get food, you want to make it stretch. So we make traditional soul food, because when you make soul food, you can freeze it, you can store it, whatever the case may be. But if I'm just eating fresh vegetables really don't last that long. So it's understanding, okay, now that I have this resource in my community, how do I use it? How do I cook? When I was in Chicago, shout out to Miss Del Kane, because she was so good and teaching me how to do like community activism and different things, stuff like that. And we would do these cooking classes, and we would teach people this is how you cook with fresh fruit that makes it last. So the biggest thing is like nutrition. You know what I'm saying? The second biggest thing is finding ways to exercise, staying active, because exercise is therapy to a certain extent. You know what I mean? You have a long day, you go to a punching bag and you just punch and you're thinking about it, whatever the case may be. But it's finding a way that you stay active, even when things aren't readily available. Say, let me walk the block 2, 3 times.
True.
I just want to get my heart rate up. That's it. I just want to break a sweat.
That's
because
go.
I'm sorry. Oh, because what I was just going to say is what ends up happening. What kills us a lot of times is like congestive heart failure, right? Because the heart gets so weak because of inactivity that it can't adequately pump blood throughout the body. So the fluid settles at our ankles. Next time you go to church, no, I don't want to say that because it's bad. But if you happen to go to church, whatever the case might be, you look at the older Black women or older Black parishioners, and you look at their ankles, you see that they're having some varying forms of edema where they're swelling in their legs. Man, shouts out to Dr. Vivian Abokoko Hicks, because she's the one who gave me my first job, fresh out of A&M, and she used to have like this medical clinic in Huntsville. And man, she would go to a patient who had edema, and she would show me like you could put your thumb in there, and it's so slow to come back. And she's like, that's how you know that they have fluid stuck in their ankles. So it's exercising, it's nutrition, it's finding ways to be able to cope with stressors. Adequate ways.
I had like when you said that, it's just like a light bulb went off, and like I'm like just thinking back on people that I know for a fact that had those health issues, and that was a sign. Like,
let me take a step further. Though, right?
I got a question. Go ahead.
All right. So
I love this knowledge.
Okay, so cause see, like this is where I'm different, right? Because you have some people who are African Americans, they're doctors, and they just say whatever the case might be, or they don't want to associate with the community,
Right.
whatever the case.
Yeah.
I'm here. Whatever questions you have, I promise I'm not running. I promise I'm here. So to answer your question, you know what I mean? That's how you know I'm a real one. Like with Blacks, what ends up happening is the HPA axis, hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, right? So it's the fight or flight. And so what your body is thinking is like, if there's immediate danger, what I'm going to do is a process, right? I constrict the blood vessels because the body's thinking like, if something happens to you, I don't want you to bleed out. What ends up happening is that your body becomes insulin resistant because your body's thinking, hey, I want to keep the sugar right here. So if you got to fight something or you got to run for something, you got this energy source that's right here. Your body, man, what else does your body do? Your body produces like cortisol. So it's like, yo, if something happens, you want to rush all these white blood cells here. But what cortisol is a steroid. So if you want to, so you ask yourself, why do African Americans, and no disrespect to the sisters, but why do sisters like under stress become so much bigger than the rest of the population and stuff like that? So what ends up happening is that when your body's going into a defense mechanism, what ends up happening is that it's like a flush of steroids. Next thing you know, the sisters become like bigger. You know what I mean? And it's just, and that's when you start seeing the cardiovascular issues. That's when you see the increase in diabetes. African American men over the age of 20, 44% has some varying form of cardiovascular disease. African American women, 48% over the age of 20 has some varying form of cardiovascular disease. American Heart Health Association.
Well, a two-part question.
Hold on. Let me do a plug. Let me do a plug because my amazing organization actually recognizes heart health, and we partner with the American Heart Association. So hopefully, I think during the month of February, this episode will come out. And so I do.
We could do a side episode. I could just delve into this. But I'm sorry. Go ahead. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I have a link which we will attach to this episode actually, where you can donate to the American Heart Association, which is near and dear to my heart because I had a cousin that actually had heart problems, and well, I actually two cousins actually, and they actually had heart transplants, and
I'm sorry to hear that.
both of them have since transitioned. But so it's near and dear to me. When you talking about this stuff, it's just like, I mean, of course, I haven't had a doctor in close proximity to actually like break down some of the stuff, and so it's like really making me think about some of the people in my family and just like recognizing the signs of things that we may need to start addressing. So, but yeah,
I think because it can get deeper, right? And I can be goofy, but I think the real part of this is, number one, how do we prevent this? Number two is, we're blessed to be in a neighborhood where we don't have the McDonald's on every corner. We don't have the Popeyes on every corner.
Sure.
We don't have the Wendy's, KFC. You see where I'm getting, right? When you go to a Black community and you go across those railroad tracks, right? When you go across the railroad tracks, that's all you see is fast food. You don't see the Publix, the Whole Foods. So I feel like African American, this is no excuse. We're entrapped in an environment where it's hard to prevent those things when we don't have the necessities, we don't have the tools or resources to prevent those things from happening, because it's easy. It is easy. All right. For me to leave this when I was in undergrad, had my own apartment. It was easy for me to leave my apartment. There was a McDonald's right there and 2 double cheese, $2.35.
That's when they had that dollar menu. When they came out with that dollar menu, that was a game changer.
If you only had $5, you can eat off of dollar menu for 2 days and you'll be all right. You see what I'm saying? So those measures have been put in place for us to fail as people. So it's like, how do you prevent those things from happening as far as eating healthy, where there's 10 fast food restaurants in a 1.5 mile radius?
Man, so it takes a concerted effort, right? I mean, the basic thing is education. And in my field, we call it like psychoeducation, right? Because you don't know what you don't know, right? Because if nobody disabuses what you know, then you're going to continue to do it because you've been doing it for generations. So I say that to say is saying, okay, like man, like I remember I used to do community outreach, and it'd be so hard for people to like just exercise. I'm like, man, just walk the block. And it's like, yo, if you can't walk the block, if you can't walk down the street, that's problematic. You're huffing, you're puffing, you're tired, whatever the case may be. So it's like saying, how can I incorporate exercise into my activity? I mean, because I always work with geriatrics, so when I give advice, it's more geared towards geriatrics. So with what I say, do what you can with it. But it's like, yo, if you can watch Jeopardy, Wheel of Fortune, because that's in your schedule around that. You cook dinner, then you whatever the case may be. Really? You need to find a way to incorporate exercise into what you do.
That's very true. I ain't mean to break in, because it's getting to me now, because I told my family during was it Christmas? No, was it Christmas? Thanksgiving. I said, look, on the 3rd, I think New Year's was on a Saturday or whatever. It doesn't matter. I said, on the first day of the week of 2021, we need to make sure we get our health screenings, our vision screenings, our dentals. You know what I'm saying? Because of this, because I think that's important in the Black community, because I know people that have not been to the doctor in over 5, 10, 15 years.
Why don't they go?
And I'm going to tell you why. It's crazy. I went to the doctor today, right? It's crazy. The doctor said, hey, you want to get the flu shot? Absolutely not. Because the reason I say that, you already know the Tuskegee experiment. I don't know if everybody heard of Dr. Sebi and all that, right? I really don't know forms of medicine, but I know how to do things right because I have a daughter and a fiance to live for. You see what I'm saying? So, especially high blood pressure in the Black community, I do have to take the supplements that I need to make sure I keep my blood pressure down. And thank God, amen. I told Tony as soon as I got left, look, my blood pressure's been down first time in a long time. Come taking my supplements I need to take daily. I don't believe in them. I'm gonna be honest with you, because I feel like the things that they give us and provide us are not for African Americans. It is so hard. I told her 8 months ago, I said, look, I am very rebellious to medicine, especially medicine that are giving from doctors that are not the skin of my color. The color of my skin. I told her that.
So why don't you go to a doctor that's the color of your skin?
I'm working on it, but I trust her. You know what I'm saying?
So if I was your physician, would you come see me?
Go ahead. Huh?
If I was your physician,
It'll take time. It'll take time. And you're a black man. No,
Let
me tell you what.
Okay, I'm a black man, but let's re-examine this. Let's unpack this though. Let's unpack this.
No. Let me tell you one thing. It's crazy. I like this conversation. I will never forget. I was a freshman at A&M. My first semester, I was going through it. I don't know this lady. I think her name was Miss Williams. She was in the.
I know you talking about.
She was in a student. You know what I'm talking about? The with the SGA. What they call it? Student building? What was that building called?
It was like the student lounge.
The student lounge. I talked to Miss Williams because her son worked with me in the printing lounge. And so she was like, you know, you may be suffering from a mild depression. I'll never forget. I went home that next week because I was going through it. And this doctor, African-American doctor, subscribed. He said, you have some kind of, I forget what it was. This was over 15, 16 years ago. Yeah. He prescribed me medicine that I did not need. And he was black. I went to a white doctor 2 weeks later, and he said, son, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just going through the changes of life. And he gave me things I need to do, exercise or just positive thinking skills and things of that sort. And I've never looked back from that. And look where I'm at now. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I don't trust, I'm not going to say doctors, but it takes me time to trust doctors. So, and like the doctor said me stuff, I'm not all the way in on that stuff, but I researched stuff like eating healthy, like the plant-based and things of that sort. I ain't gonna lie. Hell, last night we went to eat Popeyes because it's so easy. You see what I'm saying? So I think me as a person, I have been rebellious when it comes to eating healthy or exercising or trusting doctors or as far as subscribing to medicine. I don't believe in taking the vaccine. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't believe in the flu shot because of.
You saw that picture I put on Facebook?
I seen you got the vaccine, didn't you?
I got the vaccine.
Yeah, and I commend you. I commend you. I commend my guy, my best friend. She got it. She's a nurse in Birmingham. I commend you. I'm not disrespecting that fact. I'm just letting you my own beliefs as far as what African American men have been through.
I feel you.
I'm gonna pull this book out for you, man. Go ahead.
I feel you though, because let's unpack this stuff because you said some really good things though, right? There's fallacy in healthcare. But when I got the shot, one of the things that I wanted to do, because I'm accessible, right? Like you could DM me, you can contact me, whatever the case may be, you have access to me, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so when I got the shot and I put on Facebook, I didn't do it for the likes, the loves, the clicks, whatever the case may be. But there were so many people who jumped in the DMs who were just like, I saw that you got it. What do you think? How do you feel? Should I get it? Da 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 da. Because if we're going to break or we're going to move everything forward, one of the things that's really key is accessibility. Because like when you see Barack Obama get it, or you see Kamala Harris get it, yeah, that's commendable, but you can't shoot them a DM.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can't send them an email. You don't see them at church. You don't see them at getting a haircut. You don't see them at the bar. So, but when you see me get it, it gives me an opportunity for us to have a conversation about it.
Right, I'm like, that's my guy. Like,
I'm not going to tell you that you need to get it. I'm going to tell you why I got it. But and what I've experienced thus far. Right. With the information I give you, you can do with it what you will.
And maybe we need to have that conversation because, right, soon as I see a vaccine come out, the first thing coming to my head is a Tuskegee experiment when they,
of course, they as it should, because there's been a perversion. There's been a perversion.
Have health insurance
since the moment that we got off the boat. There's been a perversion of medical justice, and I always ask everybody to read "Medical Apartheid" by Harriet Washington, which is a phenomenal book that kind of details from the moment that we got off the book or off the boat to current times, perversions of medical justice, because it's not just a Tuskegee experiment. There was it was grave robbers in Georgia, right? And what they would do is, like, let's say auntie, grandma, whomever had a funeral, and these scientists from the University of Georgia, wherever the case may be, would pay people to dig up the body, and they would do scientific experiments, and the family. Some of the family members might be in that same room while the experiments are going on with grandma. And they would say, I'm never trusting medical again, because it's not even about the science behind it, it's the level of disrespect that's in front of it. That's why so many people don't trust the medical establishment.
Right.
What's the lady that they used all
I'm gonna put that link in the
Henrietta Lacks.
Harriet. Yeah.
Who?
That's another. They
Henrietta Lex. Yeah, they used the cells and they put that in space. They did everything with that, and they never like rewarded the family.
I'm gonna put that link. I looked the book up, the medical apartheid. I'm gonna put that link on the
Man,
podcast.
it's an amazing
And your link too. What was
book.
that link about the what was that link?
Oh, I'll have to get the link, but we'll do.
But yeah, I don't know, man. You're right. You know, us as black people, we're very, very, very rebellious when it comes.
So I've done no, and I feel
Black
you, and I
people
get it though. But I've done like a lot of community outreach though, right? So one of the things is like neuropsychology, psychology, in some aspects, they're not built like that. Me, what I do is if there's something I want to do, I'm going to the black church, right? Like I'm going to the black church, and you can ask me questions where you feel the safest at. Because I can't run, I can't hide, because I got to come back
This
to the
another
same
episode.
church. You know what I'm saying? Like you, but you feel what I'm saying though?
Look, this book right here, it's the conspiracy. I've been wanting to put this book up for the longest. The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys by Jawanza Kunjufu.
It says counter
absolutely.
conspiracy.
You better countering, but I'm looking at this. Countering the conspiracy to destroy Black boys. I'm gonna put this link up there. It's a great read. I'm almost finished with it, but it just tells you about the medicine, you know, just the things we have experienced since we, you know, got off the boat.
It's something about the ethos of black masculinity that drives certain people crazy. Straight up.
Yeah,
you walk into the room, broad chest, deep voice, smart, intellectual, it drives them nuts.
Right. Look, I'm sorry, guys. We have a beautiful daughter. She
keeps popping in and out, and it's like, a little
bit because it's taking longer than it's supposed to.
I ain't gonna put it on camera. Look, I forgot this ain't no paid for TV. So look, it's real. We got a daughter. Look, she want us to come over there with Hershey, and she want things. Baby, we love you. Kirsten, what you want to say to the people? Oh, now
this
she
your
want
time.
It's your time. You better come on. Come on. What you want to say? So if y'all hear on the recording when y'all see this playback,
in the background, or
that's
y'all
her.
hear me snapping over here.
She gave me the book and everything. Look, gotta love kids. But no, I think it's what you need more. And I think that's where you'll succeed in doing. Man, bro, you need to. Come on, bro.
Yes,
you have to. You got to.
I'm tuned
Chris,
in already. Okay,
look, Chris, I am very tuned in. Like because I'm telling you, black people. On time we go to the doctor, if oh man, I feel a little tingling. You know what I'm saying? Like that's when we go to the doctor, brother. And so I feel like you have the expert. Man, you've gave me so much knowledge.
You done dropped so many gems, like just listening to this conversation. So
can't be nervous, brother.
I mean,
I think this is your. You should. Like, you think you can do it, or what's going on?
I just gotta find the time. And man, I would need to find if I could find like a co-host who's like on my level and shit. Or on my level, because like sometimes I just whatever, and I'm just like, man, like, yo, I need somebody to bounce ideas off in real time or whatever the case, or just ask me questions. Or just because I'm like a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Because like one moment I could be like really nerdy and hit you with the details, the facts, the science, the history. Another moment, chilling, man. I'm talking about cigars, good bourbon, a good time, Magic City Classic, the glory days of A&M. Like,
hey, we need to go. I got my cigars of this. When you're ready, we need to have a conversation.
Hey, that's a good cigar with the Brazilian wrap. Yep. Come on now.
Hey, look.
Come on now. Look, that's a good cigar right there. Because I'm at BYU, so I can't mess with the cigars like I used to. But that's a good one.
Look, you need to, because I was talking to Pastor Shoulders on the previous episode. This guy that I know, he's in South Carolina. He's an IT specialist in the school system. All they talk about is IT stuff. I love, cameras. I love how all that stuff works. It's not my ministry, right? People are going to listen. The information that you have, brother, that is a lot of information that people need to hear. I'm here so I can elevate and help you go to that next level and say, hey, look, you need to start. This is what you need to do. So people can go like it's like I'm creating like a black book. You need a pastor, you need a photographer, you need a doctor, you need hair care products, you need to talk to a teacher, you need someone like that's never giving up. I got them. You know, I got somebody coming on about, you know, the whole body and waxing and all that. You know, black, we love our body, right? I got somebody, I got a struggling black actor that's trying to make it. He's coming on. I got somebody that's made it that's about to come. You see what I'm saying? So
let me know if we need to do a part 2.
You need to, bro. I'm telling you, bro.
Let me know if we need to do a part 2.
We do.
Because I got you.
I think what we need to actually do is, if y'all are listening, send questions that you would like to ask the doctor.
Straight up.
And that can be a segue into how you can format.
Because let me say this. I didn't mean to cut you off. My bad, sister. Because that's kind of how like I did the bread and butter, like when I was in Chicago, west side of the city, is that when we do these things, it's like, yo, let's have a question and answer session. Because what I found out is like so many people have questions that they want to know or things that they don't know. But like Sam was saying, is that they don't trust the medical system, right? Where you got to take 2 trains in a bus or 2 buses in a train to get to the facility, and you get there and it's like a very clinical environment where nobody's engaging and talking and, you know what I mean, placating the way that you feel. But when you ask me, and I'm in your community or where you feel comfortable, whether it be a church, the YMCA, whether it's a health organization, whatever the case may be, I'm here. I can answer those questions in real time. Look, I can't just give you like some simple answer and just move on. No, I'm here. And I told you guys that like early before is that I don't run.
So look,
you guys got questions, whatever the case, I'm here.
Let's do that. Look, let's do that. We're going to do I hate lives because it's so, I think now we got a setup that's pretty good, but let's do a Facebook live. Are you down with that? Dr. Howard, are you down with that? Let's do, look, it's coming out on the 17th. So we're going to do a Facebook live. I think we go out of town the week after. Hold on, let me look at
Don't worry about the logistics. We'll get that. You just get your questions in. We'll get the logistics off the camera.
And even if you don't email, we can do it online. That's going to be dope. We're going to do a Facebook live with Dr. Howard. We can do it. We can do it on a Wednesday because I mean, yeah, we can do it on February the 24th. I mean, no, my bad. I forgot. Oh, my bad. I'm over here scheduling this stuff.
Let's do the
I'm gonna do logistics.
Yeah.
We go
like if you do like Thursday, because like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, it's tough.
Oh, Thursday,
you know what I mean? But we can do it. But I can't guarantee you that I can like have an abundance of time. But when you do like Thursday evening, Friday, Saturday, I'm good. Yeah, whatever you need.
Let's do it the week after. So let's do it on that 26th, you know, Elevate. We're taking a vacation, my baby. We're gonna take a vacation. So on the 25th, I'm gonna do the flyer and everything. We're gonna do a Facebook live session and people it's gonna be part of the podcast. It's a podcast, right? But it's a time for you to elevate and get your brand out there, right? But also, you know, our people to ask questions. That's gonna be dope.
That's gonna be nice.
That's gonna be nasty.
I love it.
Y'all down?
Yo, like that just feeds into competitive spirit. I love it.
That's gonna be dope. That's gonna be dope.
I love it.
Your chair squealing across the floor. That's dope. But no, look, we've been going an hour and 20 minutes.
I know. I always say that when we get done, like this is like the best. Like
this right here,
really and truly.
Come on, man.
No, Keith, yours was too. Sean Freeman, yours. This is the big episode. Go you feeling?
Hey, come on, be cool, man.
That's what elevators.
It gets better and better. And I don't know. I think I'm just so enthusiastic because I'm learning something that I don't have any knowledge about at all.
Me either.
Right?
Like we can talk about it and stuff, but you know, people will pay for information they don't want to research themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I'm serious. People calling me how to start a podcast. So man, this is your time. So we're gonna do that. Hey guys, February the 25th, probably at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're gonna do a Facebook Live with Dr. Howard. If you have questions, you can email me at ElevateBySJC@gmail.com. Where can I email you at, Dr. Howard?
Oh man, coming off guard on that one. I was chilling, man. I guess CLHoward17@gmail.com.
I'm gonna put this on the slide too, so when I make the notes for it, people will know. So it's CL what?
clhoward17@gmail.com.
All right, cool. We got it. Well, Dr. Hawt, we appreciate you, man. Look, I did not know it was gonna run this long.
Well, let's ask before we end. What's next?
What's next for you? What's next for Dr. Hawt? What you got going on?
Man, that's an amazing question. I think the biggest thing right now is just finishing postdoc. About what, a year and some change. And when you do a neuropsych postdoc, it's supposed to be 2 years. So I don't know. Like honestly, like after postdoc, I don't know. And when I say I don't know, it's like, man, a part of me would love to start like a historically Black college university memory clinic. Like, man, I would love to come back to Alabama A&M and like develop a memory clinic for like the north side of Huntsville. So like stuff like this, we can have it like in person. I mean, granted that COVID's like, gone or whatever, but like we could do programming where, people, because see, the thing is, when you deal with a loved one who has like a dementia, Alzheimer's, or vascular dementia, whatever the case may be, is so stressful because what ends up happening with African Americans, there's always this notion that we could do it better than the system or medication can never do it, but it gets to a point where we can't do it as well or whatever the case may be. And the caregiver develops like physiological problems and different things. Like there's a family at my church and the husband was caregiving for his wife and the stress was so much that he passed away before she did. So it goes back to coping skills. Was just like, yo, if we could do programming at Alabama A&M, where they could get juice, they could relax, they could whatever the case, they don't have to worry about their loved one or whatever. They could have like a group therapy, and they could talk about what's going on. I think that would pay off dividends.
That's awesome. That's an awesome idea.
Woo,
oh my goodness.
Good Lord.
If that doesn't happen, I would love to go back. I would love to go back to the Midwest, like to a Chicago or Detroit, and develop a memory clinic in the hood. You know what I mean? Like because I think differently. Right. And I'm like, yo, if they can like create like, like a kindergarten in a trap, then I could create a memory clinic in the hood. That's the way that I look at it. I just think differently. So those are some of the things I want to do is like, create something in the hood, go back to HBCU and develop programming and do neuropsych assessments for those in North Huntsville or North Carolina A&T has an amazing program. And I want to be a part of that. You know what I'm saying? It's just different opportunities, but the biggest part is like surviving postdoc and just putting myself in a position where I know all that I can and in a position where I could go back into our community and just like change the playing field. That's it. Like I don't need to be at a big Ivy League school. Right, I don't need adulation. I'm confident enough. I don't need to be sitting underneath a big name professor. I'm confident enough. I feel like what I can do is just as good, if not better. I feel like even before I reach the doctor status, name any psychologist, any neuropsychologist, and I feel like I was outperforming them as a third year, as a fourth year. And I'm not even trying to like
I love that.
Be arrogant, but that's just the way that I felt. Because I didn't have mentors. I didn't have leadership or guidance. Like where I'm at, like for the biggest part, I had to get it myself. Like, and I know we're wrapping up, so I just want to say this little part right here. Like, man, I remember being so broke. I used to sneak into my job just so I could eat dinner. And I would sit with Chicago Police Department, and it was almost a makeshift group therapy because they would tell me about the things that they did on their job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when I had to hustle to get this, because I was blackballed from the neuro program. I didn't have no professors. I didn't have no mentors. So everything that I got leading up to this point, the community outreach in Chicago, some of the most disparate communities in the city of Chicago, I did that. You know what I mean? And shouts out to God because he always put somebody in my life who was able to mentor and guide me towards a bigger picture, even if it wasn't neuropsych. So now that I'm in a position where I can give back, one of the things I want to do is that whoever's behind me, I want to make it easier for them so they didn't have to go through the thing. Because, man, Sam, I didn't take you through I took Tyson there, but I didn't take you through the old neighborhood where I used to work. Because cops would tell me, like, if something happens, we don't go alone. Dang. We come in doubles. Because like it would be like young cats, like the whole block would be filled, and they would look in your car and ask, "Do you want to smoke?" or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? Cops would come to my hospital and look at our cameras to see who did the shooting.
Oh my goodness.
And it created this thing in me where I was just like, okay, you have mommy and daddy to pay your rent, pay your way through school. You sit with the top-notch professors. I had none of that, but at the same time, we end up in the same place.
Right.
So I was just like, yo, my hustle game is a little bit different.
Grussel.
Anyway, man, I'm not trying to like, give my testimony or anything like that.
No,
But what I'm saying, and
bro,
it goes back to what we first started about having goals, being motivated. What do you want? And like, this is for the young cats or whomever. You look at this podcast. What do you want to do? And you don't answer that in like a couple seconds unless you can. But the question is like when you look at your life and you're doing whatever you want to do and stuff like that, you have to look at yourself and say, what everything that I do at this point, what am I doing it for?
And
I had nothing. I couldn't call on my parents. You know what I mean? Like, my dad was sick, he passed away. My mom was in between jobs, so I couldn't ask him for a cup of money. I couldn't ask him to give me like food or whatever. I had to get on the grind and get it. How bad do you want something? Because I told myself I can't come home empty-handed. Because my parents have enough problems on their own. What's that look like me with the college degree coming home, saying, "Mommy, Daddy, I can't do it. I'm not good enough. It's hard out here. Do it for me. Fight my battles for." I'm not like my classmates. I couldn't do that.
right.
So that's all I got to say on that.
Man, look, this is the deepest episode.
I didn't even mean to be like that, though.
Oh no, this is what I need. No, look, I promised myself, or I'm sorry, my family. She don't know, but I feel like I've had the opportunity that other African Americans didn't have as far as a privilege, right? We talk about white privilege. There's something called the black privilege. I want you to understand that, right? I had to promise myself I cannot wake up every day with all the resource. Look, I have so many resources. I know pastors, I know actors, I know doctors, I know nurses, I know teachers, I know investment bankers, I know real estate agents. I cannot wake up every day knowing that I have, these resources and not be able to broadcast it to everybody in the world that is part of my community. If I do not do that, I have failed myself. And I know for a fact, not that I think or I hope, I know for a fact, this is going to take off to a different level.
Oh no,
because it's so many podcasts out there, but this look, black people love relationship, right? We love housewives. People love, different ethnicities and how to cook, but nobody that I've seen, I'm not taking away from anybody, that has the resources and the tools and they use them to elevate people. So it's like I said, a black book, it's a directory. If you need so-and-so, all you gotta do is go back to episode 23 and they'll tell you how you go to, if you need your grass mowed or if you need your haircut. I know barbers, I know landscapers. You see what I'm saying? Or if you need to talk to a neuroscientist or neuropsychologist, I got that. If you don't know how to umpire, I got that.
Think about that though. Unpack what you just said though. Think about that though, right? If it wasn't for your podcast, what's the probability that somebody would say, "Hey, I know a black neuropsychologist that's focused on our community"?
None.
I have questions about Alzheimer's, but I don't feel comfortable talking to like McDonald or whomever.
All right.
I want to talk to somebody that's real. Who else could they talk? They got to come through you.
You're right. And the crazy thing I thought about is everybody used to say this, "Oh, Sam, boy, I know you used to get drunk at the parties." I'm like, damn, I got to use that. I got to use that to network with these people. So when I get older, I can use that networking for something. Look, I got people's phone number I haven't talked to in years, but I guarantee you, if I call them and say, "Hey, I need you because I know your expertise," they're going to be on the show.
Of course.
It's creating this black book of directories for my community to be successful. You talked about Northside Huntsville. I know we got to go. And I see it all the time. I'm like, man, my daughter has this, my daughter has that. I gotta make sure everybody's daughter on the north side of Huntsville are able to live like my daughter. Or in something, the bare bottoms or in Montgomery or north side of Birmingham, they gotta have a directory. I know police officers. I know firefighters. My daddy's an ex-fire chief. He's coming on here soon. I got that. So if I don't use that, I have failed myself. I have failed my community. I have failed my parents. I have failed my fiance. I have failed my daughter. So that is what if you ever want to know what Elevate by SJC is about, don't ask me.
That's what it's about.
Come and watch this episode and see what it's about.
Hold on, bro. You're the new church, man. I was watching Four Little Girls. I was watching Four Little Girls earlier today in Spike Lee's Genius. But what I got from it was that the church was like the central point where people can communicate to the masses, right? That's what you are. Hey, you know what? My grandma, my auntie, my uncle, my whomever, they got Alzheimer's. Who can I talk to? Because I really don't know what to do with this. Oh, well, send them to Dr. Howard because he's legit. You know what I mean? Or I got this, fire code. Well, talk to my daddy because he's legit. Talk to this, talk to that. Like, that's what you do is that you take something that's like, really, why? And you bring it in. It's a blessing, bro. Straight up.
Look, since we talking about like 8 more episodes, I'm done with you, bro. I'm done, man. Like, this is a blessing, man. I just thought about, like, you know how you get into, we gotta go. Look, you know how you get into something you don't know, but the more you get into it, you grow. And I just like, this is my baby. Like, I can play with the music, all the symbol. This is my baby. This is her baby. Like, just seeing the growth, man. If you want some good damn smelling candles, oh my God. Y'all need to go Hawt Wicks and Scents. Stop going to them other stores. I'm serious. I don't care. I'm serious.
If you want the biggest cheerleader I have.
If you want a fire-ass t-shirt design, y'all see that hoodie? Y'all better go to Pretty Perfect Printing. We have to enrich our community, man. I am so tired of giving everybody else our money. We got to stop letting the black dollar circulate for 5 minutes. Let it circulate for years and months.
Let it marinate.
Communities. All right, y'all. I'm done because that's another episode. Look, Chris, I got some stuff for you, man.
Hey, we're gonna do this again, though. What'd you say? February
25th at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm about to work on the flyer now because the grind and the hustle never stops. And I want you to be on this episode with Andre Davidson and some other folks, man. Some past.
We're gonna eat. I'm going to eat like straight up.
That's gotta come in March, man. It's like, because like it's so many. It's just like the network of people, man. You know, we gotta use our people. But anyway, how can you be reached, man? Because I keep going.
Man, yo, I guess
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. Tony hungry. Go ahead. How can you be reached,
man? Hit me on Twitter at NeuroNoop17 and on Instagram the_mad_ neuroscientist 0617.
They just read out on the screen.
I was. It's like, it's so funny because like, you find me. But man, I be going on Twitter rants. It's like, yo, man, I got to be a little bit more professional.
I know, I do too, bro. I'm like, oh my God, this is my Elevate page.
I was like, I can't believe I said that. Let me list that.
He's be a part of a music group. I just talked to him. He gonna be on an episode, but I gotta schedule this stuff, man. People this is a lot of work. If y'all seen the background, it's messy, but it's all about the information.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know how long I'm gonna stay in Utah. So I'm living in an apartment. I mean, it's a nice apartment, but probably what you guys see is like, damn, this guy's like living like real bum like. No, man,
it's about information, baby. Oh, how can you be reached?
I can be reached at Miss Hawt HAWT _1 on Instagram, and also at Hawt Wicks on Instagram. And on Facebook is at Hawt Wicks and Scents.
Y'all know to reach me, Elevate by SJC, all streaming platforms, but reach out to my people, the Mad Neuroscientists, the Neuro New, the Hawt Wicks, the Pretty Perfect Printing. Don't worry about me. I'm going to eat regardless. All right, y'all. Mr. Howard, Dr. Howard, we appreciate you. I'm sorry, Dr. Howard, black doctor.
No, he done earned that. You
earned that. Yeah. Every time. Look, I'm going to say elevation required. Y'all say separation. It's been a blessing, guys. This is Man, we finna go to new heights, man. I really appreciate you being on here. It's a lot of work.
Hey, thank you for inviting me, man.
No problem. Anytime. I gotta keep ETK in there. We go excellence through knowledge. I gotta keep
excellence through knowledge.
We're gonna talk about Hey, anytime. I appreciate you coming on here. I know your schedule is busy. Thanks for taking the time out. And also remember, guys, I've said this on the previous episode, but always remember, I think I said on this episode, I can't remember, this is an hour and a half ago. You have to make sure you trust the process and then reach your destination. The prize will even be even more better. But with that being said, you ready to close us out? Y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, y'all make sure y'all remember elevation requires
elevation.
No.
Or separation.
Look, it was so look. I'll say separation. I'm gonna do it again. Look, we always miss this part of it. All right, I'm gonna say elevation requires, and in unison, we all say separation. All right. All right. Elevation requires separation. Peace. We out.